Hello and welcome back to Focus Atlanta. Again, I am your host, Keisha Lancelin. Thanks so much for continuing to watch. In this segment, we're going to talk about National Caregivers Month. I'm here with Lily Del Fiore, and we're going to talk a little bit about her role as a caregiver. Lily, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. You know what? When I think of caregiver, I think of the amount of compassion and hard work that goes into that title. Can we talk a little bit about why you decided to write a book, why you decided to tell your story?
Absolutely. When I went through my caregiving challenges, I was 40, early 40s, and that was 20 years ago, and there wasn't a lot of resources out there, and I felt alone. It's really, really hard to become the parent to a parent and to change the role and the aspect of the role because you want to be respectful, right? You don't want to be disrespectful. You want to honor who they are. You want to honor the fact that they're your parent, but you know that they're doing some things that aren't safe and they're not quite themselves. And so the challenge is, how do I keep my parents safe and care for them without damaging my relationship with them and without making them feel like I think they need a babysitter, right? It's very tricky. And I learned a lot doing caregiving for my aunt, my mom, my dad. And when I finished, I just felt that I had learned so much. And I had gone through so much over 12 years, not to mention everything I had learned from my dad, who was head of pastoral care for the big hospital where I grew up, and who also taught death and dying. I just felt like I needed to share the information I had to help other people have an easier journey.
Absolutely. And I love the way that you said easier, because it's not an easy journey, period. But you can make it a little less stressful. It could be a little more helpful to the caregiver if they have tools and tips and also if they know that they're not alone. I think that a lot of times the caregiver feels like, oh, I'm the only person that's going through this. I'm the only person, who has experienced these challenges. But when they have a book from you, when they have, you as a resource, they think, okay, I'm not alone. I can do this.
Yes, absolutely. Most caregivers need a little validation. I was in Vermont speaking the other night, and I looked at everybody in the audience and I reminded them, I said, you know your loved one better than any doctor, any social worker, me, anybody else. The trick is, as a caregiver, having the confidence to believe that you know what you're talking about and go up against the doctors when you feel they're wrong.
And to be able to document the experience in such a way that you don't get lost in it, right? Like there are things that you can do to help yourself through this process. I think that so often the caregiver is so selfless that they're not thinking about themselves in the process. They're thinking about the parent, they're thinking about the auntie. But with the right resources,
their kids, their spouse, their job, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So
I'm a big believer in tools. So I have tons of worksheets and tracking forms in my book. I also have a whole chapter on taking care of you. I believe on doing a lot of different things. Doing the 5 love language quiz online that Dr. Gary Chapman invented is great. Figure out what your parent is. My mom and I fought all the time until I figured out she was acts of service and I was words of affirmation. Once I understood that, we didn't fight anymore. So it's really important that you understand what makes your loved one feel loved, because you can be doing something till the end of the year and longer, and it won't make any bit of difference if it's the wrong thing. Another thing that I love is, I also work for Jubilee TV as their spokesperson. They are a game changer. I so wish they were around when my parents were alive. I cannot tell you how many times I had to jump in my car or call a neighbor. Can you go fix mom's TV for me, please? And this wonderful, wonderful device, you set it up on your parents' television or your loved one's television, and they can there's a menu for doing direct video calls, so they can call whoever they want, whenever they want, without having to read names. They can just look at the face. If they're nonverbal, that's a great thing. It also allows you, the moment they call you and say, my TV doesn't work, you open up the app on your smartphone and you can fix it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's things like that are life-changing for the caregiver. Yeah.
Absolutely, because you spend so much time taking care of the things that come up day to day that add time and stress. Plus, anybody who's had a parent who has trouble working the TV knows how frustrated they get, how angry they get, because they know they should be able to manage it, and they used to. And that's a big part of a lot of people's daily life, like it or not. That's the reality.
Well, you got to close out then with a website. Can we learn more on through the web to get to you, to get to the book?
Absolutely. Muchlovelily.com is my website. And there's a special, no, I do not get paid by Jubilee TV for every unit they sell. But if you go to getjubileetv.com and use the promotion code MuchLoveLily, you'll get $60 off.
Oh, wow.
So that's something I can offer to your audience today to help them out.
Lily, thanks so much for making time to chat with us today. It was a pleasure to meet you.
It's lovely to meet you too, and I am always there for my clients. So email me anytime at lily@muchlovelily.
Absolutely. All right, guys, please take the opportunity to go to the website, learn more, tap in. There are options. There are things that you can do to make this transition a little easier. It's not going to be easy. It's one of the most difficult things you'll ever do, but it's nice to have a roadmap. So take the opportunity to learn more. And stay tuned to More Focus Atlanta. We'll be right back.